Harrington, tonight on the Now Bakersfield. We're taking a trip through history on one of the most popular hikes in California during a new episode of Tori's Trails, an exploration of the Trail of 100 Giants. Plus, the Now's Allison Gargaro shows us a new unique way to use grapes to create a delicious snack on a new episode of Simply Sweet. And have any weekend plans? From the fair to some free events happening, we've got what you need to know if you're looking for something to do. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Well, here's the lineup on the Now on this Friday. There's a new warning out about popular pills that are used to protect our pets from fleas and ticks, but they can also make our dogs and cats really sick. So how you can make sure you're using the right product for your pet. Also, you may be thinking about getting the new iPhone, but let's be real, they're pretty expensive. You might be considering financing. So our investigative team checking into Apple's upgrade plan, who is it really the best for? And businesses offering IV cocktails, they're getting more popular. The FTC now calling out one of those companies because of its claims. So we're going to get some answers from a doctor about these injections. We have a lot to get to on this Friday.
Yes, we do, Chris. Tonight on a new episode of Tori's Trails, we're taking a journey to one of the most popular attractions just north of Kern County. The Now Bakersfield's Tori Cooper has more on the trail that has more than 1,000 years of history. Tori?
Jessica, the Trail of 100 Giants is a short 1.3-mile trail loop just north of Kernville that people travel to from all over the world. While I was there, people from South Korea, Denver, Colorado, and Missouri were all enjoying this unique trek. Check it out.
It's a place where prehistoric life thrives. The Trail of 100 Giants, preserving that story. The giant sequoia trees illustrating at least 1,500 years of time rooted in the Sequoia National Forest. These giant trees are also known for being some of the largest in the world, according to the U.S. Forest Service. And over 125 of them live only 2 hours away from Bakersfield. But people from all over the world travel to the Long Meadow Grove just to be immersed in their home.
#1 place in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Made up of over 300 acres of forest land where they tower over you, but still leave room for you to walk around them or even inside them. Over time, some of them have fallen down, including this tree that toppled over in 2011. But many also still stand tall and oftentimes grow together. And visitors say that the wheelchair-accessible, paved 1.3-mile loop is made for a peaceful journey for just about anyone.
It's really accessible to come get out in nature. It's nice. Listen to music, some reading, walking, running, everything.
Visitors like Adam Valorez also camping right across the street at the Redwood Meadow Campground.
Had a nice fire, cooked for myself.
But unfortunately, some of the signage over time has been ruined, taking away from the experience for new visitors like Adam.
Some people scratching out pieces of the templates. Wish they wouldn't do that. It's definitely not the place.
But the trees themselves have proven to be able to stand the test of time.
The Trail of 100 Giants is a great place to get away for some peace and quiet, and the entire trek only took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. But make sure if you do decide to visit that you stay on the trail and leave this historical monument the way you found it. For directions to the trail, head to our website, turner23.com, and make sure you tune in next week for another hidden place near you on another episode of Tori's Trails. For the Now Bakersfield, I'm Tori Cooper, 23 ABC.
All right, Tori, thanks. Well, Walmart says tariffs could push up prices. It says everything from baby cribs to Christmas lights are at risk. The company sent the government a letter saying shoppers will suffer the most from tariffs on China. It listed stuff like backpacks, hats, pet products, even bikes that are going up if tariffs start on Monday. The tariffs start at 10% and raise to 25% starting January 1st. The financial market seems to have gone to pot. Literally, investors are pouring billions into marijuana stocks as Canada prepares to legalize it next month. The value of one British Columbia-based company has jumped tenfold since the initial public offering 2 months ago. Tilray is now worth more than Macy's or Hasbro. Chris?
Well, we do our best to keep our pets healthy, so it is frustrating that supplements that we give them to keep pests like fleas and ticks away, they might actually be hurting them. Now here's what's going on. The FDA issuing an alert about flea pills and chews. Now the ones sold under the names on your screen, they contain a pesticide that can cause dogs and cats to have tremors, lose muscle control, maybe even have a seizure. Now you've probably heard about this before. Consumer groups, they have raised red flags on this, but now the FDA wants the labels on these products to be bolder and more clear. Now the reason they're still on the market is because the FDA says these preventative medications, they work for the majority of animals without any issue. So what should you do, since obviously you don't want to stop giving your pet flea and tick treatments? Well, you do want to talk to your vet about the right ones to use for your animal. They aren't all the same. Some are meant for dogs only, not cats. And if your pet does have a bad reaction to a chew or a pill, you want to get them to the vet right away. If it was a topical product that you put on their skin, wash it off with soap and water, then call the vet. Afterwards, you want to report it as well to the manufacturer and the FDA. All right, let's get to some big stories here in the Now News feed. Obviously, official election day, that's not for another month and a half, but voting machines, they are already taking votes in Minnesota. Let's get to some video here. You can see of a Get Out to Vote video that the state of Minnesota put out. Law in that state allows in-person voting to start today. The Army missing its recruiting goal for the first time in more than a decade. They tell the Associated Press they fell about 6,500 short. They wanted to sign 70,000 new troops by the end of the fiscal year, which ends this month. New music coming out from Chris Cornell. You might remember he passed away from suicide last year. His widow helped put together a new 4-disc box set. Cornell played with bands Audioslave, Soundgarden, and Temple of the Dog. Let's check back in with our lineup here, and you may be thinking about getting that new iPhone. They are just too expensive for a lot of us, so you might be considering financing. Well, our investigative team checking into Apple's upgrade plan. Who is it really best for? We'll look into that next. You're watching The Now. $65 every day. That's according to Pew Research. And there's new numbers that also say a majority of people heading into retirement, they are confident that they have saved enough. Yet there are many people who are concerned about what retirement's going to look like for them. So we went to a financial planner to hear what they feel people should be doing right now. Retirement planning can bring a lot of questions. How much do you need to save? Have you saved enough? How long will that money last? Where are you going to retire? Mountains, beach, maybe by the family? Have you planned enough? To answer those questions, South Florida financial advisor Marianella Collado says, know your goals.
Make sure that you have a roadmap, right? Let's make sure that, so it's not a nerve-wracking feeling. Make sure that you really have all your ducks in a row.
She says baby boomers have to think about more.
Companies really set up their employees with pensions that took care of them for life, and that doesn't exist. There are very few companies that still offer these types of programs, so the onus has really been on us to really save for our own retirements.
Are you seeing a lot of baby boomers prepared, or is there this group of people a little bit later on that might be thinking, I'm in trouble?
As financial advisors, the news that we give folks is not always good news. So sometimes it's a reality check to say, hey, you're not going to be able to stay living in the big house, or you're not, the plans to buy the beach house, that's really not going to work out. So it's kind of managing their expectation on what things they can or can't do.
How do you help that person that hasn't been preparing for that day?
Realistically, if we're 5 years away, what do they need to do within the next 5 years to be able to retire, or what retirement is going to look like?
There has to be some tough conversations sometimes.
When they work with us and we start on this journey together, we end up in a good place because we're managing both their expectations and we're sort of at the same time giving them a reality check.
It's like financial advisor and like couples therapy, a little bit on side.
It is, it is. No, actually, it feels like that. Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah. All right, and if you're interested in a free fitness tracker, maybe some discounts at stores, how about this? Because a life insurance company just started offering that stuff to its customers. John Hancock, trying to get more young people to sign up for life insurance, so it's offering things like discounts at Amazon and REI, free Fitbit or Apple Watch at a low cost. Yeah, if people hit certain fitness targets, they don't have to pay fees on the devices, and they're eligible for discounts on annual premiums. Experts, though, they're saying not so fast, because giving away your health information, that comes at a price. Insurance companies, whether it's for life or healthcare coverage, they will use this information. Now, it is illegal to deny coverage based on pre-existing conditions, but insurers can still use info on your behavior against you. After all, part of the job is to see just how much you are going to cost them. Privacy experts do fear that if insurance companies use this information, they'll start raising costs for riskier customers. John Hancock Insurance says customers will only send them health information if they want, and they can also choose what type of information they send.
Thanks, Chris. Amazon is reportedly making a push to become a convenience store giant. According to Bloomberg, Amazon is considering opening as many as 3,000 Amazon Go's across the U.S. by 2021. Amazon wants to open at least 10 of the cashierless Just Walk Out stores by the end of this year, with 50 by the end of 2019. If they make it to 3,000, that would make them the third largest convenience chain in the nation, just under 7-Eleven and the parent company of Circle K. Hear that music? If you're looking for a fresh idea for a snack or a party appetizer, then check out this new flavorful treat that the Now's Allison Gargaro will show you how to make in tonight's all-new episode of Simply Sweet.
Welcome back to Simply Sweet. I'm Allison Gargaro, and today we're going to be making grape bites. These are grapes wrapped in cheese and rolled in nuts, so you got a little bit of that sweet and salty going on. It is going to be perfect to pair on a cheese plate or to share at your next girls' night. I'll let you know how I made it. So I'm going to start with green and red grapes. So I have two different ways of doing this. With the green grapes, we're going to be using goat cheese and crushed up pistachios. And with the red, some blue cheese and some crushed up walnuts. So your hands are going to get a little bit messy, but I promise it is worth it. So we're going to be taking some softened goat cheese, and now the warmth of your hand will make it really easy to roll around the grape. Again, hands a little messy. And then we're just going to roll this in some pre-chopped up pistachios. Get it nice in there. Okay, so you can see a little bit of the white from the goat cheese, but then you get that crunch from the pistachios. So I'm going to finish rolling up the green grapes. Next, onto the red grape. So we are going to pair the sweetness of the red grape with the richness of this crumbled blue cheese. So it's crumbled, it looks like it won't be malleable, but look at this. It just forms right in from the warmth of your hand, and this is also softened blue cheese. So we're going to grab a red grape and just mold this around here. A little bit more difficult than the creamy goat cheese, but it still is going to taste delicious. Once it's all around the grape, we are going to pop this into the crushed up walnuts. It's going to give it that nice crunch and a little bit of saltiness. And a trick while rolling these, the thicker the cheese is around the grape, the easier the nuts are actually going to be sticking inside. So these are just two of my favorite flavor combinations, but you could also use red grapes with gorgonzola cheese, some slivered almonds, and drizzle a little honey over. That would be delicious as well. But now that these are all rolled up, finally time to taste. I'm going to try the goat cheese because that's my absolute favorite with the pistachios. Can't wait. Oh my gosh, these are so good. First, you get a little bit of crunch from the grape when you bite in, and then a little bit of sweetness, the creaminess from that goat cheese, and then a little salt and crunch from the pistachio. These are to die for. I can't wait to hear what combinations you guys have, and if your friends like these, let me know on Facebook, Simply Sweet Allison. Thanks for watching.
Professional kitchen and appliances provided by Earners, Kern County's appliance leader.
Those look delicious. Well, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, we've got you covered. It's National Public Lands Day tomorrow, so more than 400 parks across the country are waiving entrance fees to celebrate. But if nature isn't really your thing, Smithsonian Magazine is celebrating Museum Day this weekend, so you can go online and print a ticket for 2 to 1 of the nearly 1,500 museums offering free admissions, including our local ones. One download is available per email address. Also, don't forget the Kern County Fair is going on this weekend as well. For a full look at the fair's lineup, just head over to our website, turnto23.com, and click on our Kern County Fair section. There you can see which bands will be performing every day, details on discount days and specials for reduced price admission, of course, and information on new events like the Reptile House and Edible Garden. You can also find the lineup on our 23ABC Facebook page. And now Bakersfield will be right back.
Halloween's coming up, which means people are about to get outraged over some controversial costumes they see online. People were mad over what was really a risque costume based on the Hulu show Handmaid's Tale. An apology by the lingerie company Yandy, who put it together. They're no longer selling the outfit. People say they were sexualizing a show that's about women living under the rule of an oppressive government. Well, Prince may be gone, but his music is living on, as his estate releasing its first album since his death today. It's called Piano and a Microphone 1983, and it's a recording of Prince in his home studio long before he became a star. Well, you may be thinking about an upgrade now that Apple's new phone is out. Now, Apple does offer a plan to let you upgrade your phone yearly by spreading your payments over 2 years, but it may not be the best deal for everybody, and the Now's investigator Jace Larson telling us what this means for you and why it might be a better deal for Apple.
There is definitely a fascination with the latest Apple iPhones. Well, today the new iPhone is out, and there's a lot of people oogling them, trying to figure out how they're going to afford to buy one. Some models run above $1,000, and many of us are not going to pay for it up front. Apple offers an iPhone upgrade program. It allows you to get the latest iPhone every year. But if it's your first time, here's something important to know. Getting into the program requires a credit check. Experts tell us that applying for credit too often, like the iPhone program or maybe a car, a house, or another credit card, well, all that can lower your credit score if you do it too often.
It's going to make a much bigger impact depending on your credit history and the length that you've had. And if you've had a very long history, 5, 10, 15 years of doing this, the weight of a hard inquiry really isn't going to impact you that much. Talking maybe 1 to 5 points. If you have a shorter credit history, it really could actually have an impact, and I've seen some situations where it could be as much as 25, 30 points.
But here's something else to keep in mind. The Apple Upgrade program means if you keep upgrading every year, you're going to continue to have a monthly payment unless you stop upgrading. Colin Overweg is a financial advisor.
In order to take advantage of the program, basically say we're going to sign up for another 24-month contract before yours even ends.
If you're someone who's going to buy the newest iPhone every year, well, then these plans might be for you. But if you're hoping to get rid of your monthly cell phone loan payment eventually...
My favorite type of phone isn't the iPhone 10 or the Galaxy 10. It's one that's paid for.
I'm Jace Larson, The Now.
All right, good information there, Jason. You know, it's Friday, so let's take you back to your childhood a bit. You know, Winnie the Pooh has been around since the 20s? Yeah, now close to 100 original sketches for the books are going on display, and for the last time here in the U.S. The exhibit opening this weekend at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, going to be on display until January. It will then head to Japan. It'll after that be preserved away from public view because paper drawings are just so very sensitive to light. All right, ahead in our lineup, businesses offering IV cocktails. That is getting more and more popular, and the FTC is calling out one of those companies because of its claims. So we're going to get answers from a doctor about these injections. You're watching The Now. vitamins, minerals, herbs, all injected into your blood. And the people behind them say they can immediately relieve a lot. We're talking hangovers, altitude sickness, anti-aging treatments. They also can be pretty pricey as they go as much as $170. But now the FTC is saying if it sounds too good to be true, probably is. The FTC is calling out one IV cocktail seller for what they say is deceptive claims. This company had allegedly said they could treat things like cancer, multiple sclerosis, congestive heart failure. So we talked to some health experts and they say be careful.
If you're injecting that directly into your blood system, you're bypassing basically our entire digestive system, which is, again, kind of another check and balance, just to make sure that we're not getting more than something that we need. And you're completely bypassing that. And I would really not recommend that.
So she says the only people who really need vitamin injections are usually those with a B12 deficiency. And if you have one, your doctor probably already told you about it. All right, well, this year, each American is expected to eat a record amount of red meat and poultry, about an average of 220 pounds a person. Now, you may expect that we're all shopping at big box stores to get our meat, but get this, small butcher shops are finding ways to thrive. And coming up Monday here on The Now, what they're doing that has these shops experiencing a renaissance in these changing times for businesses.
And coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, a confrontation between neighbors over trash turns deadly. The new details in the investigation of a father and son duo who shot and killed another man in front of his wife. You can see the two of them armed there. That whole shooting is caught on video. We'll have much more on that story tonight. And it's not yet Halloween, but one town looks like it's all ready for trick or treating. Can you see that? More on why a village in Greece, oh yeah, covered in spider webs. That is what nightmares are made out of. Perfect time for Halloween. And that's going to do it for us here on The Now Bakersfield. But don't forget, we have much more coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11. In the meantime, be sure to check out our website, turnto23.com. We've got everything you need to know about the Kern County Fair, including schedules, discount days, and more, all online right now. We'll see you back here at 11.